The night a wall opened, Berlin, 1961 to 1990. After World War II, Germany was divided into occupation zones controlled by the United States, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union, and Berlin, although located inside the Soviet zone, was also split among the four powers. In 1949, this division hardened into two states, West Germany, the Federal Republic of Germany, aligned with Western democracies, and East Germany, the German Democratic Republic, aligned with the Soviet Union. For many East Germans, the contrast was impossible to ignore. The West promised greater political freedom and economic opportunity, while the East imposed tighter control on daily life. Even after East Germany closed much of its border with West Germany in 1952, a critical gap remained: Berlin, where people could still move between East and West sectors more easily than elsewhere. Over time, that opening became a lifeline for those trying to leave the East, and the East German government saw it as a dangerous loss of workers and legitimacy. In the summer of 1961, rumors spread that East Germany would move to shut down this escape route. On the night of August 12 to 13, 1961, a wire barrier was erected around West Berlin, and established crossing points were closed, cutting through neighborhoods and separating families almost overnight. What began as barbed wire soon evolved into a fortified concrete system encircling West Berlin and isolating it from surrounding East German territory. This barrier became known as the Berlin Wall, built by East Germany during the Cold War to prevent people from escaping from East Berlin to West Berlin. It was not just a single wall but a heavily guarded border system. At points it included two walls and a corridor between them that became notorious as the Death Strip. East German guards watched this zone closely, and the risk of being caught, or worse, was real for anyone who tried to flee. The wall turned everyday geography into high-stakes politics. A street could end abruptly at concrete, a train line could stop at a checkpoint, and family visits could become impossible. Yet, people continued to try. Over decades, the Berlin Wall came to symbolize the larger Cold War division between East and West, between two competing political systems that shaped Europe's future. By 1989, change was spreading across Eastern Europe, and civil unrest in East Germany increased pressure on the government to loosen travel restrictions. Then came a moment that would be replayed around the world. At a press conference on November 9, 1989, East German spokesman Günter Schabowski announced that East Germans would be free to travel into West Germany, starting immediately, without clearly explaining the remaining rules. Confusion raced faster than any official order, and crowds gathered at checkpoints on both sides of the wall. As the night unfolded, passport checks were eventually abandoned and people crossed the border unrestricted. The political impact was immense. The fall of the wall further weakened East Germany's already unstable government and accelerated the end of the old order. What had been an armed boundary began transforming, in real time, into a place of reunion, strangers embracing, families finding each other, and a city breathing as one again. Less than a year later, on October 3, 1990, Germany formally reunified. In a single generation, Berlin had gone from a symbol of division to a symbol of change, showing how quickly history can shift when a government loses control of its own narrative and people reclaim the streets.